thank you guys all for coming here. Um, Kris, you want to let us know how this came to be?
Sure. So, probably not everyone on here knows that I work pretty closely with my dragon guide, and his name's Haiku. And it was probably a month ago. I was in the car with him, and he likes Jimi Hendrix, and that's one of our. You guys know me, my Jimi Hendrix stories. So I had Jimmy in, and we were listening to All Along the Watchtower, and that's like one of our mission songs, right? And it just like all happened so quickly. He said, "We need to do more," and I was like, "What do you mean we need to do more?" And he's like, "We need to tell the others." And I said, "Well, okay, what do we tell the others? What do we do?" And he said, let's do like a podcast. Let's do something live where we can get everybody together who works with their dragons and do like a power hour. And so I was thinking, okay, that's awesome. Well, how are we going to do this? So he said, "Well, let's work with Wendy, because I've done a dragon guide reading for Wendy, and we've done different things before where I've been on her podcast, and she has her YouTube live." So I was like, great idea. So I was like doing my errands that day. So I just pulled over and sent her some voice messages and just said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this Dragon Power Hour with me?" And then the more we talked about it, it kind of like fused into like a round table, just a group, because she had hosted last year a New Earth roundtable. So in my head, I was thinking something like that, where we all get together, collaborate, share ideas, but this is going to be about dragons and working with your dragons. So we all have dragon guides. It's just we all need to remember we have dragon guides. So that's how it came about. So I'm glad Wendy said yes.
I was glad I said yes as well because as soon as I started working with my dragons, it was just like they were so excited and it was really fun and very just it felt so good. So I got really excited when I started working with them, and then I was like, thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this. So yeah.
Yeah. And it really was, it was you. So I mean, when you and I talk about things, and I do have other people that work with the dragons too, but there's so much more power when you and I get downloads, when we get together, and you've been finding stuff in meditation, I've been finding stuff in meditation, and there's just like this power that's coming through for Avalon. It's all going back to Avalon, and that's where the dragons are from. So that's why it's called the fire that burns in Avalon.
And it's interesting as well because Avalon actually has caught a lot of people's eye. When they saw the flyer for this event, they were like, oh, Avalon, which surprised me because I was like, oh, I didn't realize how many people were sort of familiar with Avalon, or maybe they
Yeah.
had past life memories from Avalon, or, it was pretty interesting. So that was
That's
really
another
fun
one.
too to hear from people like, oh, Avalon, and I get their story related to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it's so cool that so the premise is the idea that we're all going to come together. We're all going to talk about our dragons. We're going to do a guided meditation. We're going to connect. Wendy and I are going to take you to Avalon so we can do that with our dragons. And then we want to see what comes up for everyone. So the power is in sharing, and the power is in collectively. The example they always give is we're powerful as one, but when we all come together as a collective, there's that much more power. So our dragons are the power aspect of our soul, and they just want us to remember that we have missions here, and we're here to hold the light for the new earth. We have light codes, we have galactic light codes, we have so many things that I see in my readings that we are here. And even though you don't even realize that on a conscious level right now, you're here to help bring in the new earth, the 5D earth. So they want to help you remember to do that.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go ahead and just like circle around real quick. And if you can give us your name, and if you already have a dragon guide, let us know the name of your guide, how you work with them. And if not, we're going to be meeting our guides if you haven't already met yours. So I'm going to start with who wants to go first?
Do you want me to do another little introduction and how I met my guide?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So about a year and a half ago, I started working with the unicorns, and that came about through a unicorn book that I received for a gift. And it was Diana Cooper's Magic of the Unicorns book. So my unicorn guide came to me in meditation and told me that I was going to start helping others connect with their guides, and that way they're unicorn guides. So then that kind of morphed into me doing that with the dragons also. So when my dragon came in, it was really interesting because they're totally different energy than unicorns, right? But it's interesting that even though I started with the unicorns, it felt to me like I was like more, I don't want to say connected to my dragon on a soul level. There was just a different relationship there than I had with my unicorn. So he's always like my right hand man, and that's what he calls himself. So he's literally the fire beneath me, right? So he's always just trying to light the fire under me to do these things. So his name's Haiku, and he's more of an Asian type dragon. So picture what I would like to say is in Mulan, if you know what Mushu looks like, the dragon in Mulan, he kind of looks like that. And just so sweet. And he just wants everybody to know that dragons are cuddly teddy bears. So don't ever forget or get intimidated by the dragons and think that they are always these fire breathing, creatures that the patriarchy has made them out to be. Because inside they all come from love, and the unicorns and the dragons carry that love frequency, and they both carry the same exact frequency. It's just they go about doing things in different ways.
Love that.
So I don't want to take up everybody. Whoever would like to go next, go ahead.
I guess I'll go ahead and go next.
Okay.
I'm Wendy, and I actually have 2 dragon guides right now. I met them through going to Kris's Dragon University, and that was a funny story. There was actually some divine intervention from my dragons to get me into that school, which was, it was pretty funny. So, and of course, when I started working with them, I loved it. And, so I have one dragon named Alfred who Kris connected with. And then I have another dragon named Sacha. And it's interesting because I met Sacha on my own. And when I heard that name, I thought, oh, wow, that's interesting. I have never heard that name. And I looked it up online and it means man's defender or defender of man. And I thought that was kind of amazing. So I guess according to Kris, I don't know. Like, I don't know how all of the dragon stuff works, but sometimes we have to. It may not be forever. And so I've been working with them. And when I go to work with them, I see them like go over my body like Kundalini energy, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I basically work with them to help transmute dense energies. And I also think that they're just around giving me signs all the time. Yeah. So how about, oh yeah.
I know we talked about Dragon University. Well, Dragon University was kind of last year this time.
Yeah.
And so there was so many dragons in your awareness, and some of it came through like the Halloween decor, and it was just really funny the way that worked. It's like once they come into your awareness, you really do start to see them everywhere.
Everywhere.
See them. Yeah, there are always signs.
Totally. Well, how about Allison? You want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Allison. Let's see. My dragon's name is Visidra, and I met her in a dream. She's like a water serpent one. And in this dream, I was in like this dark cave, and it was kind of damp. And there's some water, and I like bump into something, and I look around and I see what it is. And then she like started like unraveling herself, and her head was looking at me, and I'm like the size of her like pupil. And she was just looking at me, and I freaked out, and I was trying to force myself to wake up. And then as I was waking up, I heard the name Visidra, and I was like, what the hell was that? I was so scared because she was so like massive. And then I did a meditation, and she said that she initiated me, and now like we're gonna be working together. And what I have seen in other dreams is that we're in like deep underground areas, like mapping different like underground, I don't know, like tunnels. And we have like, I have a little nightlight thingy, like the hat with the light, and I'm sitting on her and she's just like perusing through all the tunnels, and I had a map and I was like marking stuff off and stuff. So I don't fully know what that is, but it was like the deep, deep, deep underground.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
And she's blue and huge.
Awesome. Holly, do you want to go next? Oh, I think you're still muted. There you go.
I went to Kris, and she informed me that I had a dragon. His name is Arnold, and him and I are in Avalon, and we did most of our work in the Renaissance, the French Renaissance, with artists and helping them free themselves and become more creative. And we went around, like, I don't know, kind of like sprinkling good vibes and stuff. And I can't say, I don't really see your, I'm really bad at all this stuff right now. I'm kind of like, hello, is anybody there? And I feel him and I sense he's there, and I need to talk to him more, but for some reason they've got me kind of like on lockdown. So I think it's I don't know what it is, but I do love him. And I've got my little he's yellow. He's yellow, and this guy kind of turned yellow.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
if you can see him, but yeah, that's it.
Arnold, hi, Holly.
Hi, Kris.
Arnold always makes me laugh because he's so
funny.
like, he's kind of like theatrical in a way, but like a dragon theatrical. Like I'll see him flying, but yet then here's Holly. She's a dragon rider. She's on his back, and sometimes she has like a beret on, or it's like so interesting the pictures that they paint, because I think they're just trying to get me to wrap my human brain around the scenario, and you guys are spreading these light codes, and yeah, they show that like sprinkles and things going through the air. And you played such an important role with Arnold, in the Renaissance, because that was the last time the frequency was really infused in that way and elevated the frequency of the planet. So bonus to that self.
Thank you so much for it. And I hope that's why I busted my butt to get here today. I mean, my hair is wet, and I was like, oh, I got to do this, because everything keeps pulling me to like do normal things. I'm like, if I don't get anything done today, it's going to be that. I don't care. So I'm just glad I could get on and like figure it out. And here I am. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Kate, you want to go next?
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name's Kate. So my dragon, it's interesting. I met my dragon just after I had a reading with Kris, but it was a mermaid reading. So I had tuned in to Kris's readings, and I felt drawn to the mermaid readings. So I did that. And then all of a sudden there was my dragon. She was coming into my awareness, and her name is Agora, and she started coming to me just when I would do my meditations and my channeling. And she's like she's shown herself to me as like a very slender dragon, and a very like pale blue, like almost like an icy blue, and then like these really big like golden eyes. And so she's told me that her name Agora means crystalline, and she's shown me images. She calls herself Agora of the Crystal Caves, and she's shown me images of us being in crystal caves together, and she would go and like pluck crystals and like give them to me, and I would like fuse them to my heart. And then she's also shown me that we work together, like in my dreams, we're astral traveling a lot, and we're going up to the cosmos, and we're landing on different planets and like collecting codes and like bringing them back to the earth. So that's really cool. And really, she just helps me on a day-to-day basis. Like, I feel like she's here to help me continue to like speak my truth and use my voice and use the fire that's in me. just to really be myself. Like she's just a really big proponent of me sort of like using my throat chakra and like speaking it out kind of thing. So yeah, so it's cool. It's cool to have her. I had no idea, like a dragon wasn't even on my radar. And then I connected with Kris and it's like, boop, there she was. So
I will say when the elementals come in, when you just like how I was saying with my unicorn guide, then within maybe like a month, my dragon guide came in. So I feel like it's an elemental thing, right? So you get that door open with one, and then, you know, they all share the elemental frequency, even though they all have their each thing as well.
Mhm.
So you open the door to one of them and it's just like, get ready, because the rest of them are like, we're coming.
yeah, we're so excited.
Blow your mind.
Yeah. So thank you for having me here and for doing this. This is just so exciting. I've been so excited about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Beverly?
Hello, hello. So I'm the first one that does not have a dragon guide, but I will go into like what got me to join. So I did a class maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and it was connecting with your unicorn guide. So I did manage to connect and like work with that type of energy. And then as you had put out the information about this gathering, I was interested, I was drawn by the Avalon piece because because I do a lot of work with like Oracle, Tarot, and that sort of thing. And my first deck was the Wisdom of Avalon. So I was like, oh, Avalon, like I've worked with that before, like that's cool. So that drew me in and got me interested. So when you said they'd be doing the meditation to do, like meet your dragon guide. So I do a lot of work with tarot. So I recently actually got the Wisdom of Dragons tarot. So
Awesome.
I brought the deck to like show and tell. So the first card I got was the Ace of Cups. So for anyone that's either watching the replay or if you haven't met your dragon guide yet, the cups is saying like new relationship. So be open to connecting with your dragon guide.
That is awesome.
Thank you so much, Beverly, for sharing that. And I'm so excited you came here and you're gonna meet your guide.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Lacey?
Unmute myself there. Hi, everybody. I'm Lacey Eshelman. I'm in my car. Both my babies fell asleep. Perfect timing for our little visit here. It's a roll of the dice. So I just saw Wendy post and I was like, ooh, dragons. Yes, let's do that. I don't actually know my guide, but I remember being connected to dragons since I was a small kid. It's always been in the background, just nothing I have ever really consciously gone after. But I shared with Wendy when I saw this come up, probably a week prior to, I found this like dragon wisdom teaching book that I had sitting on my bookshelf forever that I've never cracked open, and I pulled it to come with me back into like my regular library, not just like the backup library. And so it's just it's obviously time. So I'm excited to see who comes through, and it's just fun to hear all of you ladies and the rad names everybody has. Like I love everybody's dragon names. They seem like dragon names to me. So just really looking forward to sharing and connecting, and I love working within group containers. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. We
It
have
is fun to hear the names. I agree.
Oh, absolutely. We have two Sarahs here. Sarah Leverett. I'm like, I don't know the other Sarah's last name, so that'll make it easier.
Hey everybody, I'm Sarah. I see some familiar faces and new faces, so nice to meet you all that I haven't met before. So I totally agree that it seems like when one elemental energy starts coming in, they just all flood in. It seems like ever since I've moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, about a year and a half ago, that like the elementals have really started getting my attention. It started with a gnome, and then I encountered this giant, and now a mermaid and now dragons as well. But it's interesting. All of my guides kind of shapeshift into different forms at different times. But I have three main guides who sometimes show themselves as animals, sometimes show themselves as like human-ish. But it's really cool. My three main guides like shapeshift into one dragon with three heads. And I find it really fascinating. I don't have a name for said dragon because it really does feel like my three main guides, but just in one powerful energy altogether. So I'm excited to see if that dragon comes through or if another dragon comes through. And then I've been studying Avalon. I got this book when I was on a trip with Wendy, actually. Avalon Within. I've been slowly but surely making my way through this book. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
I have a quick question for everybody. Was Avalon always in everyone's awareness? Because I never had a thing with unicorns, dragons, Avalon, and Atlantis, any of that until they started to come in, and make contact with me. Has anybody else ever been like not really into that stuff, but now that you're learning more about it, it's really interesting. But as a kid, I didn't, I wasn't like a unicorn person. I wasn't a
I
fairy
was
tale.
gonna say, like when I was a kid, I was really big into unicorns, especially like the ones with like the rainbow mane for some reason. So, like it's weird. Like I've been sort of doing like a lot of like inner child work and like looking back at like the past, and like that's been really coming like forward. It's like, oh, I remember like loving the unicorns so much.
Oh,
And
that's neat.
the dragons, the first time I heard about dragons was the like Chinese zodiac. And I was
Yeah.
reading into it recently, and it was like, the dragons existed because if you look at all the rest of the animals on the, zodiac wheel, they're all like animals that, still exist on the planet. So it's like, where are the dragons?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. The dragons were actually still, excuse me. So I had a separate reading, Deborah Lemaire, who is at Lemaire Soul Crafts. She's done a few portraits for me. And when my dragon guide came through and I have his portrait, he actually said in Asia, that was one of the last places where dragons were still visible and working with their counterparts, like here on Earth as it is right now, because it was still holding a fifth dimensional frequency there in some parts, because they were holding on to the ancient ways. They were doing all the things, the shamanic things. They were continuing to do all these practices. And that was like one of the last places on this actual earth right now that the dragons were still connecting. So that doesn't surprise me, because they were actually visible at that time, eons ago. But yeah, they were there.
That's awesome.
So that makes sense that it would be on their chart.
Cool. Well, we have Sarah C. Thanks for updating that. That makes it a little easier.
Hi, I'm Sarah C. I do not know the name of my dragon guide. I just have had impressions of dragons around for the last couple of years. And so then I struck up a friendship with Kris, and I was on her Instagram and saw the last dragon thing she did. And I was like, oh my God, I want this, because I've just sensed them around, but that's about it. So anyways, I'm happy to be here tonight.
Awesome. All right. I think we got everybody. Just double checking. Yeah. So Kris.
Yes. Let me get my little notes.
Yeah.
Okay, gather round. So when I was talking to Haiku about all this, so Dragon University was something that I did last year, and he put that in my awareness, and he said, just sit down at the computer and I'm going to start telling you what to type up. So that's how Dragon University came about. So I knew he wanted to do the same thing when I was going to do notes for this roundtable. So I have a page of notes. What he would like to share is that the 4 elements, we work closely with these as dragon riders and shamans of Avalon. Now, a dragon rider goes with it's you as the person, and you're with your dragon, and it's what it is. You're riding on your dragon, but you take on missions throughout the universe and in different galactic places here on Earth, wherever it may be. But you are connected to your dragon as a dragon rider through your dragon heart. So I'm not going to totally get into that right now, but that's something that I talk about in Dragon University. So a lot of us will have our dragon heart already, it exists. It just needs to be reactivated and integrated back into our awareness. And that's when your dragon starts to really come into your awareness, when your dragon heart gets activated. So he wants to say that the air, fire, water, and earth, the dragons are encouraging all of us to intuitively connect however we feel called to the 4 elements. Touching the soil, bathing in the water, taking breaks in the sun to absorb the higher light frequencies and light codes. Connect with the great central sun through meditation or visualization to activate more of your dormant DNA. Thank your dragon guide for clearing any blocks to receiving these upgrades, and thank them for assisting with integrating the higher light codes into your field. So what I'll do, and I typically take my dog for a walk every day. So when I'm out, I'll just be thanking the sun. I don't know if anybody else does that, but it's like a daily thing for me. I thank the sun. I'm blessing my water. I thank all the elementals and the guardians of earth for assisting us right now, because they're really here doing they're like neutralizing the chemicals. They're stabilizing the soil. They're reactivating the crystalline grid on earth. They're doing all these things. So his point here is that the more you can do to like connect in that way with your guide, the more you're going to feel them around you. Try to make it a practice. And then he's also saying the mermaids are also proficient at assisting with light code integration. Call on the unicorns to keep your field high vibrational and to fill it with Christ light for your best and highest good. The shamanic ways of earth, the planet, indigenous work with the land, the dragons, and they are all keepers of Gaia, along with the fairies. The keepers of Gaia cleared the planet, the atmosphere, the soil, the water to allow for all living things to be sustained here on earth. And the dragons were a big part of that. But some of us came from other places, and I don't want to get like too far off the dragon train, but so I'm from Orion. I'm an Orion star seed, and this is just an example. But I helped seed the trees when we came here. So depending on where you're from, the Pleiadians seeded a lot of the water creatures, and they work directly with the water, which is the lifeline and like the blood of earth, the water, all the water systems. So when you know what your starseed origin is, you can kind of connect into what, I guess, shamanic ways you might be channeling just in your DNA on a cellular level, because you have that within you. It's just dormant right now. So you have to activate it and get out and start connecting with your guides, start connecting back to Gaia to reactivate the dormant DNA in you. But that's a lot. So the elementals, they're very connected to the elemental realms. He says, we are very connected to the elemental realms, the dragons. We're also very connected to the trees. And we specifically work with the fairy realms to clear and transmute heavy, dense energy and move that out to clear it for the integration of the galactic light codes. This happens through the fairies as stewards of the planet and all living things. They seamlessly integrate the higher light after the dragons have transmuted it. Unicorns do the same thing. Dragons clear, mermaids, unicorns, fairies come in with the higher frequencies of Christ consciousness, and then they integrate that into the atmosphere, which literally when they show me these things, it's like sparkles that they're placing into that's what they're showing me it looks like, even though it's not sparkles. So I'm rambling. Remember, there is power in coming together in this way on an energetic level. So as our group, the more you connect and speak about the dragons and connect to the dragon frequency, the more you assist in manifesting higher dimensional timelines. Going back to, I'm so happy everybody's here so we can connect and be power in a group instead of just by ourselves. The final message he has is the dragons want you to know that you may connect with them in any way that you feel called. This isn't a one-size-fits-all category. Each soul may feel called to work and connect with us in their own unique way. And that's what's set out in your soul contract and through your soul blueprint. Some souls have worked with the dragons for eons and some for just this earthly lifetime. There are many who have worked with us off and on and are now beginning to remember the importance to our souls. Enjoy the reawakening process and look for the hidden treasures in these moments. It's not a race to the finish line, but a beautifully orchestrated journey of awakening and awareness. Glimpses into the other lifetimes and into the shamanic way of your soul. We love you, we're here for you, and we look forward to seeing more and more of you in the halls of Avalon. So, what would you like to add, Wendy?
I don't think I have much to add except that I'm excited to go on this journey together.
Same. Is everybody ready to get into the meditation? So I'm going to lead us to Avalon, and then Wendy's going to take it from there. So I don't know if anybody has crystals with them or anything, but if you want to get those ready, take a moment to get situated. Get comfy. Get a drink. Does anyone have any questions before we go into the meditation? No?
All right.
Now, guys, what I have is a page of a guided meditation, but when I do my meditations, and this is straight from Haiku, this is straight from my guide, so he's taking us there, which is what he usually does. I speak pretty slow, so just be aware that, I want you to get to a deeper state. So I'm not going to, even though it's only one page, I'm not going to fly through this.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're ready, close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Can you hear me okay, Wendy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Picture yourself now on a beach, but this isn't a sandy beach. It's a beach with small pebbles and smooth rocks touching the edge of the water. Let's sit down now and find a comfortable place here on the beach. As you sit here and take in this beautiful scene in front of you, you notice the mist over the water ahead of you. You begin to notice a swirling of the mist in front of you, just touching the surface of the water. This is a mist like fog that sits over the surface. Do you see it now? Let's take another deep breath in and out. Focusing on the surface of the water, you begin to notice that the mist is starting to swirl gently. But then, before too long, it begins to grow stronger and stronger, swirling into a giant vortex of energy that comes out of the water, like a small water spout, but it's gentle and it doesn't threaten you in any way. It feels gentle and sways like a giant tree swaying in the wind. Sway back and forth, get comfortable, feeling this energy here. This vortex of swirling energy in the mist begins to get larger and larger, growing very, very large. Eventually, it stops moving. Do you see it? Now you begin to notice that there's a figure inside this vortex of energy. It's moving again, the swirling of the water. It begins to beckon at you. Let's get up and go to the edge of the water to see what's there. As you begin to wade into the water, you notice the object inside the vortex of energy begins to take a shape. It's very large. This is your dragon guide. Your guide is either a serpent dragon looking like a giant sea creature. Or your dragon is a winged dragon, looking like the dragons you may have seen in pictures and movies, a flying dragon with wings. Let's take a moment to connect with your dragon now. Thank them for showing themselves to you now. What are you hearing? Do you hear anything? What are you seeing in your third eye? Do you see anything? Perhaps what color your dragon is, what their eyes may look like, the shape of your dragon. Do you hear a name? Is there any name that's coming into your awareness? I'll give you a moment to sit with your dragon. You may ask your dragon to place their name into your awareness now. Whatever name pops into your awareness first, we will use that. This is your dragon guide's name. Let's take a moment and connect with your dragon, feeling into what your guide looks like. Sometimes the dragons will show you pictures. Are you seeing maybe a scene in front of you? Not just your dragon, but maybe they're actually showing you something. Maybe they're showing you a place or a past life. Now thank your dragon for allowing you to step onto its back and take you to Avalon. Whether your dragon is a serpent dragon or a flying dragon, they place their neck into the water in front of you now, and you gently hop on, allowing them to take you to Avalon. However your dragon chooses to get you to Avalon now, feel into the journey. Take time to see in your third eye the mists of fog over the island as you approach the holy Isle of Avalon. You may begin to notice the fires on the torches burning on the edge of the island. All around the perimeter of the island, you see these lights. These are torches, each carrying a small fire from the violet flame that resides on Avalon. You also notice the cliffs of the island, the gentle swaying of the water lapping up on the pebbly beach as we get closer and closer. Your dragon gently places you on the beach in Avalon here now. It's similar to the beach where you met your dragon guide, with small pebbles and rounded rocks filling the beach. The water laps up on the edge of the rocks. Feel the rocks and the water on your feet. Feel the energy of the island. Let's thank the Dragon High Council for allowing us to tap into the energy of the island and allowing us to connect with our dragons here now for our soul's best and highest good. Thank you, Dragon High Council. Thank you to all the dragons who are here with us now, connecting with your soul partners, your human soul partners who are here with you now. We honor you on your missions. We thank you for taking the time to be with us here tonight. This is a soul memory to be here now, back on beautiful Avalon. Feel into the gentle, loving energy of the island, the fifth dimensional energy of this enlightened place. Thank you to all the dragons for being by our side and assisting us. helping us regain our soul memories of Avalon, the home of the dragons. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. Let's stay in this space for another few moments. And then I'll invite Wendy to come in and take you further into the island. Let's take one more deep breath in. And breathe out. Your dragon is right next to you now. Thank you, Wendy, for coming in to assist us on the next part of our journey here on Avalon.
Thank you, Kris. Okay. So now notice a tall stone temple, a tall ancient stone temple. All that's left are the walls. You approach this temple and walk inside. In the center, there's a large stone table. Go ahead and climb up onto this table and lay down if you'd like to. Notice how this table feels. Strong, supportive, still warm from the sun piercing through the open ceiling. Take a deep breath and exhale. Ask your dragon to transmute any dense energies in your energy field. Your dragon sends beautiful violet flames from the top of your head, down your body, and down to your toes. This fire burns away any dense energy in your energy field. Notice how this feels. Now your dragon sends beautiful golden flames from your toes, working his way up, all the way back up to your head. This golden fire is source light, imbuing love and peace in your energetic field. Notice how this feels, filling all the spaces, every cell of your body. When your dragon is finished, thank yourself for being here and thank your dragon. You can now come off of the table and form a circle around the table with everyone here and their dragons. Once you find your place, face the center again. And notice a golden chalice appears on the table. Your dragon wants you to take it and pick it up and go to the ocean. So take the chalice out to the seashore and scoop up some of the seawater and bring it back to the table. Now rejoin the circle. Take a deep breath and exhale. Now send love and peace to this chalice of seawater. Think of the people you love, your pets, your love for yourself, anything you love in your life. Let that radiate out to this chalice of water. You can feel the love vibrating in this circle, imbuing this water with this powerful vibration. Now we're going to take this chalice and go back to the ocean. When you get to the ocean, pour this water into the sea and watch as the love vibrates out to the rest of the ocean. You'll notice a ship in the distance. Bring your awareness to the people on this ship. Notice this sense of calm and contentment suddenly waft over the people on the ship. They look up at the sky, notice the beautiful clouds, and they look over the edge of the ship and notice the sparkling reflections of the sun on the water's wavy surface. A pod of dolphins swims by, saying hello. Now bring your awareness back to Avalon, back to the island. Go back to the circle and place the chalice on the table. Thank your dragon for this experience. And now ask your dragon if they have any messages for you. Now give them a big hug if you'd like. Know that they are always there for you to protect you, give you courage, and to transmute any dense energy into love. Remember this feeling of love, connection, and oneness that you felt today. It's always there for you. We can always come back to this state and let it radiate from us. Now bring your awareness back to your body. And slowly wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. All right. I'd love to hear if from anybody who hadn't met a guide yet, if you met your guide, if you'd like to share.
I'll share.
Awesome.
I was actually quite surprised. I saw a dragon in my mind's eye, like almost right off the top, like came swooping in, winged dragon, and was just like, hello. And I was like, wow, I was like, when you try to talk yourself out of it, like, is that what I'm really seeing? Because it was just so sudden, but it was very obviously that, and it was just really beautiful, and it grew. And I saw flashes of like teal colors. So I think he is teal with lavender eyes. And I got the name Argon.
Ooh.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Other than that, just like really deep peace, like just a very peaceful, expansive energy. I went really deep, almost like where I couldn't hear you ladies. Like it was more just receiving the energy than the words. So
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
yeah.
It sounds, and I was going to say those colors sound Atlantean and Lemurian. like those,
Mhm.
especially with the purple eyes. Very ancient and very, like I'm getting fifth dimensional because the dragons can be anywhere from fourth up to about the ninth dimension. But I'm hearing fifth dimensional for your dragons. So the Atlantean frequency. Avalon is fifth dimensional too, but that's beautiful.
Nice. Who else wants to share?
I can share because I don't have, know my dragon guide. I got some impressions of like the color and things, but I felt like I could really see like spikes and wings. But what I like sensed more was like when I met him or her, like she stretched out like almost like a dog would to like I really was like interacting with underneath her throat and like how soft it was here, even though it looks like scales. And she seems white to me, but that's because that's what I've kind of sensed before. So I don't know if, I'm overlaying that on today's meditation. And she seems like he seems really tender with me, but then like, but fierce with other people or something is like the sense I got. And then I got a name, but I don't like it. So I don't know. Anyways, I heard this name Clarice, but like to me, I hear like Silence of the Lambs, Clarice. But anyways, that would have never been a name I would have ever picked. So I don't know.
Right.
Maybe trust it then.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just looked it up, and it means bright and clear.
Oh, wow.
And
And
it's
I
a
feel like
girl's name, so that's why I kept saying she, but I don't know.
Yeah, and even when you first said he, she, and then you went with she, it would seem she to me also is what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel like it was more of could you tell if it was like a motherly energy, sisterly energy? Just like sometimes they feel just like your energy. Could you tell any of that? And for Lacey too, could she feel that energy?
It was confusing because the energy feels because it feels so protective, that sort of feels masculine, but then like but then also there was some feminine feeling of like how gentle she was and stuff. So yeah. I can't answer that question.
That's okay. That reminds me of Allison's guide, Visidra. She's very like, intimidating, but then when you get to know her, they're not at all, so
Yeah.
especially when
Which is
they're
often the kind of personalities I'm attracted to in friendships, which anyways, you just said that.
That's interesting.
So Beverly, had you connected with your guide before? I don't think you had, right?
No. So
Okay.
it was interesting, like during the meditation, like I could like almost right away, like as soon as you were like see it, like the form and then it's clearing, and all of a sudden I started to see like the green dragon, like it's really like rich green color with like yellow eyes. But what was really odd is as I was standing there like connecting, there was a guy like standing with me.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, who's he? Like, I don't know, like I want to say almost like the way we were dressed was like the Julius Caesar times. But like I had like a blue, like, I don't know, how do you explain it? Like they looked almost like bed sheets. Like, I don't remember, like, like it was like a rich blue color, and he was wearing one too, but his was like more of like a green, and he had like the crown that they wore with the leaves. Like, so I'm like, who is he? But yeah, I don't know. So the dragon was there. And I got the name Carseus. That was interesting. And I saw Wendy a couple of weeks ago, and like every time we talk, like I would keep getting chills as we were talking. So as I was like connecting with the dragon, like I kept getting chills. So I'm like, geez, I'm gonna be like frozen by the time this is like over with.
It sounds really, yeah, that sounds very Greek to me now. But you were seeing them, your guide as a flying dragon, right, Beverly? Not as a
Yeah.
dragon. Okay. Yeah, that's because where I was going with that was I know I've connected before. So the serpent dragons live in the cave systems around Earth.
Huh.
And there's a cave system in Greece. There's one by Japan. There's one in the Pacific Island area. So when you were saying that, it's almost like that type of vibe, like the Greek, Roman. I know Rome is Italy, but that's what I was seeing when you were saying the gold leaf type headwear they would wear.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like really strange because I'm like, who's he? And they were like, don't worry about it. Like, just
Maybe it was you. Maybe it was a soul aspect of yourself.
I
And
don't
that was-
know. I had like really like big, like dark hair. Like it was like, yeah.
But I love that you were able to get that. That's what I like about when Haiku does guided meditations, because he always starts with that mist and then the mist developing into whatever your guide is. It's like something about the mist,
Mm.
and that lends itself to, it just must be an easy way to connect in that way, because that's his technique. So I
Yeah.
like that. And I encourage everybody to continue to, in meditation or as a visualization, just do that because it's so simple.
Yeah. Makes sense. That's like how spirit precipitates.
Yeah. They keep it simple.
Yeah. Awesome. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
All right.
So I saw my dragon and she shrunk herself for the first time because every time I see her, she's like gigantic. But she
Yeah.
was like nuzzling me like a cat does. And she was like doing that with her head, and we were just cuddling it up. And she was sending like energy to me. It was really sweet.
Oh, love her. She's the queen. The
Yeah,
nickname
she's,
she told me. She wanted to be called the queen.
she's in like Scotland, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
Like-
she's like a Loch Ness monster.
Like a Loch Ness, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I guess I shouldn't say monster, but yes, like Loch Ness creature. Mhm. That's her. So I know everyone did, because I think if you already knew your dragon guide, was the perception still the same with this guided meditation? Was the perception of your dragon still the same?
Hmm.
Yeah. Were you still getting 2, Wendy, or did you only have 1 in the
I-
mist?
I still had 2. It was
Two?
funny because you were talking about the mist and they just like wanted to burst through. Like they were like, come on, let's go.
Even
No,
like-
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Did you guys get any messages at all? Anyone who already spoke? Who might have been so deep in, it might not have been like, yeah. Okay, cool. Who wants to go next?
Kate or Holly, do you have anything you want to add?
Sure. Okay, so it was interesting because Kris, right before you started talking, I got all this emotion and I got tears in my eyes. And I felt really emotional actually throughout the whole meditation. And it was almost like, well, I know what it was. I was homesick, like homesick for Avalon. And I think I've shared that with you before, Kris. Like my soul, like my whole life, I'm like, even before I knew what Avalon was, like I knew about England. So I needed to go to England. Like I'm so drawn to it. And even now talking about it, like I wish I was there. Like I just want to live there with my dragon, you know?
Yeah.
So I found it really emotional. Which always happens with Avalon, but also I just felt a lot of, so when Agora and I, like when she appeared through the mist, I could see like a pink tether between our hearts. And like her heart was lit up and my heart was lit up. And then and she's winged, like I've always seen her as a winged dragon. So like we flew over, and then when we landed on the beach and you were talking about the beach, I could just see like crystals sparkling everywhere on the beach. And then I just felt so much love. Like I just felt like there was so much love on Avalon, and it was just like a big hug. And even now I'm getting chills. It was just like a surrounding, like this big hug. And then what was really beautiful, it just made my heart like light up. Wendy, I think you were talking about it when we were all around the table with our dragons, like all of us here. And I just saw all of us holding hands. And then we all like lifted our hands up when we were like looking at the sun. And it just felt like, even now I'm getting
I have
chills. It just
chills.
felt like so beautiful. So yeah, so it was really beautiful. It was nice being back there.
Mm.
When you say that about the beach, that is, yeah, that wasn't in there, but you're right. There are little specks of crystals all over the place.
Really?
Because they have these crystal caves. And the crystal caves is where they go to rejuvenate, to transmute, just think about everything your dragon does and all the dense energy that I might be carrying. They have crystal caves on Avalon, which help them to just clear all that out. So it's like taking a bath in a crystal cave. So yeah, I love that you were seeing that there, because that in the guided meditation I do, it's in Dragon University, but it's to go to the crystal caves, and it's literally just like sparkles everywhere. Because that, yeah, and that's why it feels so. When they talk to me about Avalon, they also say it's very similar to Atlantis, where the water held this high frequency. So here's the island, the water's under it holding this high frequency, the fifth dimensional frequency, the crystal caves and the crystals there, the violet flame, everything is working on the island itself to keep that fifth dimensional vibration. And then, you know, you're still getting light codes. And when you say the sun, and it just feels like, as Wendy was saying that, it did feel like it was just these beams of like galactic energy coming down. Did anybody else kind of feel that, or just see it in your mind's eye that the sun was just like intense there?
Yeah.
I feel like it's so much more intense there because that's the vibration that it's at, the fifth dimension. And so it's almost like when we came together in that circle, it just, the sun activated our energy even more.
I love that.
But as far as hearing anything, I heard the word powerful. I heard coming together. So that was the intention that we set. And I love that that's what came through.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Did you hear anything, Wendy? I mean, I know you were speaking.
Yeah,
it,
I didn't really, because I was guiding. Yeah. I felt like just this journey that they took me on, I was just like, whoa. Yeah.
When you told me that that's what happened in meditation, it was just like, I felt like I was listening to a story. I was just like captivated by it. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Me too. Oh, Holly, do you want to share? Let me ask you. We got to unmute you. There you go.
Well, it just when the mist started growing, all of a sudden it was like a huge whirlpool, and he just started, and I was like, oh my God, he's huge. And it just was, I couldn't get over how big. I was like, he's huge, but he was bright yellow, even a darker yellow than I had ever thought, but there was like a red on him. I don't know if I made that up, but it was like just on certain areas, like on his chest and on tips of him, he was more red, and I loved riding him. I loved getting on him, but the weird thing for me is that it always seems kind of dark, and there's always like I see the lights and I can't talk because I'm menopausal, but the flames and everything, it's kind of like, it just seems really dark, and I'm always like concerned. I'm like, why is it always so dark when I come here? Or why am I like in this little hovel cave, or why? I don't know. And it does bother me, but I don't. Yeah. But
You're like, we turned off the lights in this place.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, God, I thought, and then I start going, well, am I in the wrong place? I'm like, come on, Holly, focus. I don't know. But yeah. Um, it, I was surprised that it seemed like he had that red on him, which I've never seen that before. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'll have to go back and look at your reading because that does sound familiar, but
But he was huge.
feel
That was
like-
the biggest thing.
yeah.
Huge. Huge. I was like, whoa. But
Yeah, like-
yeah. A lot of love. A lot of love.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
so Holly's yellow, mine's like a burgundy brownish color. I think Lacey, I don't remember what color you said your dragon was. I think Beverly said hers was green.
Hers was teal.
Teal.
Oh, teal. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Kris, do dragons change colors?
They can, but typically I would say I see them the same. Unicorns change colors more than dragons do. But any elemental can change the colors based on their frequency and the energy they're carrying. Like when I work with the mermaids, a big thing that they kept telling me was that they might look different to me each time because each day they might be carrying a different like aura or frequency of light around them, depending on what they were working on with their human, with their soul partners. But I have not really seen that in the dragons.
I have one other question. Is Saint Germain at all associated with Avalon? I'm only asking because you have the Saint Germain flame that's violet, and you were bringing up the violet flame in Avalon. So, anyways,
it's Merlin. It's the same person.
Okay.
So Saint Germain and Merlin are the same person, same soul.
Okay. Okay.
And so Merlin was very connected to Avalon. Yes. And what they've shown me in readings is that there are souls who take care of the violet flame on Avalon. I didn't actually know that was a thing and didn't even realize that the piece of the violet flame was on Avalon, but it is apparently. And so they make it seem almost like the Olympic flame, you know, when the Olympic Games are going on, you've got that one big flame, but then there's little pieces of it that they have on the torches around the island.
Okay.
But there are also souls who are keepers of the flame who are just there with their dragons to tend to the violet flame there.
Okay. Okay.
So, I didn't really give me much more information than that, but I know that it's definitely a part of what keeps it in the fifth dimensional frequency is the violet flame.
Okay. Interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah. 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 It's all fabulously interesting.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
And once the pieces of the puzzle come together, I'm like, wow, yeah, I could see all this crystal caves on Avalon makes sense. Like I didn't know that before they said that, but it's so cool though. And Wendy and I talk about this, that this is another good reason for all of us to share, is because everybody has a different piece to the puzzle and we're here to remember all those pieces and to try to connect the dots, because that's part of our soul missions too. I mean, we said we wanted to remember when we came, so we're doing that.
It's so interesting you said that stuff about caves, because so often in a meditation I'll be led to this, like there's this cave I go to for like healing, or when I'm trying to pray for healing for somebody else, but it's so high up in a mountain that you could only access it by flying. But I've never, like, it feels like it's my home, but I've never questioned how I would ever get into that cave because it's so far off the ground. But like,
so that makes sense how you might get there.
Yeah. Anyways, that just connected for me.
That's awesome. Sarah Leverett.
My mind is pretty blown right now, for multiple reasons. Sarah, everything that you just like brought up are the things that like really stood out to me about the journey, like the cave, but the cave is so far up. It's almost like the cave is on a cliff. And then I had never heard any of this about a violet light, but the very first thing I saw before my dragon was this cloaked figure with a staff, and on top of the staff was an orb of violet light.
Wow.
And so my mind is so blown.
I have massive chills, Sarah.
I've never heard of this. I've never thought of this. I've never seen this symbol in my meditations before. So this is brand new. And And then I feel like I got a little glimpse of another dragon, but then very much so stronger was the first dragon that I was telling you all about earlier. And I don't know if I said the color earlier, but it comes through as a black dragon with like green eyes, very bright green eyes.
Wow.
And yeah, the same way that all of my guides feel like a part of me. Kris, when you said sometimes your dragon can just feel like your own energy, that really resonated because it does feel like my energy. And then the same way that like when my cats are purring, like I can feel the vibration through my body. It's like that dragon sound, but I can feel it like moving through my body.
That is cool.
Cool.
I feel like I'm swaying when you say that because I'm just in, how would that feel? That'd be so amazing.
Yeah.
Taking that in. What I wanted to say earlier when you said that your guides come together to make the three-headed dragon is I've been shown that they, so when they can, because I've seen Allison's dragon have two heads before, but that's the only other dragon that I've seen do that. So when they can come together like that and morph into an actual dragon with multiple heads, that's like a very advanced, very higher dimensional being that they're bringing together to do that. Like that's just not an everyday thing for the guides to morph together to make themselves a dragon. That's unusual. So that seems very advanced to me. So I would love if you ever do get more information about your dragon guide and when they come together like that, I would love if you just send me a message to say, you know, to elaborate on that, because I want to know if they're all, so you have a separate guide, but then they're collectively coming together as this other guide, but there's a reason that they're doing that. And that's what I would be interested in. Why do they only come to you as the threesome showing themselves in that way? There's something about the power in that. They want to share that with you. But I know that when they can morph into different things, having multiple heads, and then they can also morph into my main spirit guide. He was a Native American. His shows himself to me as half eagle, half dragon. So it has an eagle head and a dragon's body. And so that means they're very advanced as well, like higher in their soul growth, I'm saying. So
I'll definitely keep you up to date if I get more visions or understanding about it. Because right now it's very confusing. It's like I can't tell if it's masculine, I can't tell if it's feminine, I can't tell if it's air, and I can't tell if it's water. And even when I asked for the name, I couldn't tell if it was saying Marco, which would be more masculine, or Margot, which would be more feminine. So it's kind of like it's almost like there's a veil there where I'm not fully understanding. It's almost like the answer is that it's all of that.
Yeah. And then if you feel called to do that as a visualization or in meditation, again, with the fog and the mist, and just see how that may change over time. And you may even get more information just by doing that technique to see what else comes through. And anyone can also go straight to Avalon in that way. I always thank the Dragon High Council for allowing us to do that. But, you know, you can go to Avalon at any time and hang out there and be in the energy and meditation. So I encourage everybody to do that too.
I've actually had, since they took me on that initial journey where they transmuted the energy with their flames, I've done that a couple of times, and I feel so good after. It's so nice. Like it just gives me like a pick me up, you know?
Yeah.
So it's fun. Like, I mean, any of these techniques, I mean, also I forgot to add, I feel like my dragons help me journey. So just going into meditation and calling them in and just seeing where they want to take you is another awesome way to work with them, you know, because you might see a past life, you never know what you'll see, but they'll take you to whatever you need, you know, whatever's for your highest good at that time.
Would Beverly like to do a card pull before we, does anyone have any
Oh,
questions?
can I make a note about Beverly's card she already pulled?
Yeah, I know, right?
The Ace of Cups. I mean, it was the chalice on the table. When she pulled it, my mouth flew open because I was like, there's the journey. But yeah, I would love if you want to
Wow.
pull another one too.
Yeah, let me see what jumps out. So we got, ooh, the Chariot. So it's showing the black and white dragon. I feel bad because I have like bad lighting. I'll post these on Instagram after.
Cool.
But the Chariot, it's either like decision making, because it's like you're wondering, like being at a crossroads, like, do I go this way or that way? And the other side of it, if you're trying to get something done, it's the almost like your inner will, you know, like the power of your third chakra will just make it happen. Because like the traditional tarot, like the guy shown in the back, he doesn't even have any reins. He's just standing there like, all right, it's gonna happen. Like that's it. Like no questions.
I love that.
Allison, can you hold the, I don't know, you have to talk too, so the screen switches to you, but can you hold the card up again so like I can just look at it?
Oh,
Or Beverly, I'm sorry, Beverly.
at first I'm like, Allison.
Sorry.
You can see it. You try to turn like the light a little.
No, that's good. That's like sort of what my dragon looked like with all those horns and being white and stuff,
Oh my God.
but without the Asian whiskers.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're connected on Instagram, but I'll post it later.
Okay.
Yeah, you're at Hummingbird Energy Healing, right? I'm making sure I got that order right. Energy Healing.
I'm so thankful that everybody said yes. I know, I just see that it's getting to be about an hour and a half now, so I know it's just winding it down, but does anybody have questions for anything? I can share the notes and the guided meditation. I just have PDF documents. If anyone would like those emailed, just let me know.
Yeah, and did you have any closing things from Haiku, Kris?
I read it already. It was in the
Okay.
notes.
Oh, okay. All
The
right.
final message. Mhm.
Yeah, so if anybody has any closing statements or questions, just let us know.
Just thankful to both of you for hosting and like putting this together. Like it was really, really interesting. And like Wendy, you're kind of like like if I'm becoming like too grounded, like too human, like you always remind me like there's magic out there and like how to, you know, bring both sides together.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you, Beverly.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you everyone for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. And the dragons, thank you too.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you ladies. Thank you so much for this. It was really wonderful.
You're welcome.
It,
Thank you for being here.
it was really nice to connect, and what a great experience. It was kind of just one of those things that just, you know, I love that these are being made available and that you ladies are sharing your gifts and bringing people together that we wouldn't have normally had a chance to. So it was just really nice to connect.
Oh, thanks so much, Lacey. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. If anybody ever has any questions about anything, you can reach out to me. And I know Wendy gets all kinds of downloads, it seems like lately. So she might even have more answers right now than I do, because she's like, oh, get this, check this out. Oh my God, that's crazy. Emoji with the brain exploding. That's always me.
Me too. Awesome. Yeah. If anybody doesn't already follow me, I don't know. Sarah, you might be the only person I hadn't met
I was
yet.
gonna say I have, yeah, Hummingbird Energy Healing down, and then I assume your Instagram handle's in the email. Or
You know what? It's not.
Or it's probably connected with Kris's Instagram that you would when
Yes.
you put this out about. Yeah, I'll find you.
Totally cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'd just love to stay connected with everyone. So thanks again so much.
Thanks for hosting, Wendy.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right.
Have a good night,
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.